Welcome to the Locker Room, the new channel from Legacy. Today we are sitting down with Guildford Flames' very own Owen Griffiths. Morning, Owen. Firstly, I hope you and your family are well, and thank you for taking time out to join us today and being one of our very first guests. Today we're going to sit back and chat about last season with the Flames. We're going to talk about the pandemic and the up-and-coming Elite League streaming series with the Panthers, and finish off with a few fan questions. So, first things first, where are you right now and what is getting you through lockdown?
I'm I'm actually at work. Something I don't really want to get comfortable saying too often, but yeah, I'm home in Cardiff, Newport, and just trying to stick to a routine, trying to stay a bit sane.
Yeah,
Luckily, I'm quite privileged that I can work at the moment. And I know a lot of people are kind of stuck at home and can't do what they usually would do. So luckily enough, I can do what I can do, and I'm home. I've been doing the same thing as I usually would do in the summer. Luckily, pre kind of pandemic kicked off, my girlfriend and myself, we kind of got a facility in the gym at home that I use. So I've been lucky enough to use that through the summer, which has
yeah,
been great. Obviously, the ice time's been limited, so that's kind of been shortened, but everything else has been as best as it could be, kind of thing.
yeah,
But yeah, sticking to a routine has been keeping myself mentally sane. So
yeah.
that's the best I can do at the moment.
I mean,
Luckily now we've got
yeah,
something to look forward to.
yeah. I mean, let's take it back to the 18-19 season. The Flames, had, just collected a conference title, advanced to the cup final and the playoff weekends, and there was so much hope for more, should we say, in the 19-20 season. But no one really could have thought it would have got cut short by a global pandemic. So when the league had cancelled the season, you must have thought, hang on a minute, this is getting quite serious now. Where were you when you were told the season was cancelled? And what was the mood like with the team? Could you actually believe this was happening?
Yeah, it's like you say, nobody could have made this thing up. It's crazy to really, when you look back and think about everything that's happened and how long it has happened for. I know certainly, the first time I heard the season was cancelled, um, with Josh and a few of the other boys, and get into the locker room, and someone says this, someone says that, and then not until we get the official statement from Paul when he comes in and tells us, season's done. Um, Unfortunately, but player safety is number one. Now the priority is getting you guys home safe and everything like that. Making sure you're not, locked in the country when you could be, with your families and everything like that. Making sure
Yeah,
yourselves and everyone else a bit of priority. So first, in like at first, obviously it's a shock, but I think we went about it the right way. Emotions wise, yeah, it was obviously disappointing. We couldn't obviously get right up there to be in chances of the league and everything, but we're looking for a good little playoff run. We're obviously challenging to get up higher to get better seeds, but yeah, it's never a good thing when the season's cut short, whether it's because you haven't been playing well and you haven't made enough, or whether it's outside of your control.
yeah.
So yeah, of course it was disappointing, and we were looking forward to a good playoff run.
Yeah, I mean, with the league cancelled, we saw players go overseas to Italy. We saw them go to Sweden, Finland, just to get some playing time, really. I mean, have you stayed in contact with the rest of the team? How does it work? You got a team WhatsApp, or are you doing Zoom calls like the rest of us?
Yeah, kind of thing. Yeah, same thing. We obviously throughout the year we have our chats, a group chat with everything that goes
Yeah,
off in there. You have your guys who you're closer to, just like anywhere else.
yeah,
So obviously you keep in contact. But yeah, like you say, like everyone's in the same boat here. Like luckily enough for some countries they could go ahead. So like in Sweden, I was lucky enough to go and spend a little bit of time over there, but that was obviously cut short, and they had the same problems as us. You're like, handballers are lucky enough to keep going. So
Yeah. I mean, at this point, with hockey cancelled, were you ever concerned on how this would affect the growth of UK hockey and the Elite League? Because, I mean, at the end of last season, the Elite League was in such a strong place. It was attracting good players. Clubs were doing well overseas as well. I mean, what sort of place do you expect to find it when we come back in September?
It's a strange one, you know. It's hard to predict because the league, especially now with GBB and in the top nations, it's hard to stay with them regardless of whether you're having a full season with the skill level and the support that they have. So for us to take the hit that we have done, safety is a priority, and I completely agree with it. But it is, it does take effect. It's one of those things that we have to take on the chin.
Yeah, you guys had a terrific October, November, December stretch, I think, where you won 16 out of 20 games played. You had a 7-game winning streak. And in February, you got your first ever winner in Belfast. I think it was 5-4 in overtime. And it was starting to feel like the team was starting to click just at the right time. And personally, I think your game was really hitting its stride. I mean, you had a really strong Challenge Cup. I mean, you had 4 goals, 8 points in 10 games. I mean, how frustrating was this for you to be on such a good run, possibly hitting a playoff spot, to just going to sitting around your house doing nothing?
Yeah, it's honestly, it's crazy when you're back, because things were going well, and at the start of the year for me,
Yeah,
moving to Guildford from Milton Keynes, it was a nice step up, and I was playing with good guys, and the points are kind of coming in for that, and I was loving the process of everything going on, so I did enjoy it. So obviously for it to be cut short, it's frustrating.
yeah,
And like you said, that we were, guys were coming into form, and and we were playing well. And unfortunately for us, it's just one of those things that we're gonna have to accept because it's out of our control. But I know that we know as a team that we could have done, a good little run in the playoffs, and played well.
exactly. And I mean, with no hockey being played for almost a year, um, how did you stay in shape? With not having any access to rinks and gyms, I mean, how did that affect that? I mean, and how do you think that's really going to affect the streaming series, especially with some guys who's had no access to any ice or any gyms?
Yeah. So I said earlier on that luckily enough I've
Yeah,
had access to a little gym set up. It's nothing special, it's no state of the
no,
art. It's kind of the old bog standard gym, little setup. So, but luckily enough, like I've had access to that, so I can't complain at all. So yeah, I've been keeping in shape with that way. I've been working with a nutritionist as well at the end of the
nice.
summer. It was a goal of mine to kind of at the end of the season, the goal of mine to build a bit of size, and I didn't want to build size at like a drastic rate, and then for it to fall kind of straight off when the season was coming in, and I was being a bit more active. So I took a specialist on board and worked together with him. So we did, and it did help a lot. So that he helped me, and he again training programs as well that followed suit. So um, the equipment that I had was available. I kind of expressed that, and we had programs and everything run around that. Everything that we could do. So I know personally that I've done as much as I can possibly do to stay in shape. But yeah, like you said, with this streaming series, the ice time has been limited. I'm not going to lie, like Cardiff haven't had any ice. Then again, with the NRHL Cup, that's been the available ice time yet.
Yeah,
So again, there's strict protocols there as well. So yeah, it has been limited. The streaming series, I think the standard, the first couple of days will not be the same as the last couple of days of the tournament.
no, exactly.
So I think we will see as it goes on, we will progress, and it will become a bit more competitive, and it'll be challenging. So I think it's needed. I think the league putting it on is brilliant, and hopefully the GB national team and when in the next Latvia tournament. So it should be a good little spectacle.
Yeah, I mean, you touched a little upon about the time there. I mean, there hasn't been enough time to prepare for the streaming series. I think it's only been a couple of weeks you guys have been given. I mean, as a team, normally you would probably wrap up a training camp at a certain speed and an intensity to go into a full season really ready. I mean, so with a lack of time to prepare, how do you think that's going to really affect you physically and mentally going into that?
Yeah, it's gonna it's that thing. If you don't do it for a while, you're gonna feel sore from it. So naturally, that's gonna happen. But hopefully, we can overcome that hurdle pretty quickly. And then mentally, I think more than anything, it's just gonna be so much nicer to just get back to what we're used to doing. Be the
Yeah.
routine of competing and skating and as hockey players, there's nothing more we want to do that other than play hockey. So for us to have the opportunity to do this, I think more than anything is going to be it's going to be great.
Yeah, I mean, looking ahead to the series, um, obviously you got drafted by one of the big arena teams, Nottingham. It's always an incredible place to go
Yeah,
and play. You're going to link up, obviously, with Tim Wallace again from MK. How
yeah,
much are you looking
yeah.
forward to that?
I'm really looking forward to it. The the opportunity obviously to play for Nottingham is, like you said, one of the big four arena teams.
Yeah.
They got a big fan base and everything like that. And for me to go there with guys who I've played with before through DB or competing against and being coached under teams, given yes it was under different circumstances and a different squad, but hopefully their chemistry can stay. And I just want to be get some minutes under the belt, keep playing, and hopefully play well and push for a national team spot, which is always the goal.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, I loved the draft night. I watched it. I thought the league done an incredible job with that. And me personally, as a fan of hockey, I'd love to see them introduce a draft night, maybe at the beginning of each season, just to mix things up. I mean, would you like to see a draft season included?
It was really good, like you said. I think it made it exciting. It made a bit of fun, and especially for us players, it had a bit of stress to it too. Of course, for myself, not being a protected player, there's no guarantee of me being picked.
No.
And especially with this prolonged period of time with having limited ice time, coaches might look at that and see it as a negative, and to do everything that I can possible to stay in shape and
Mm.
come to the Spring Cup ready to play. So, but yeah, with your idea of bringing it in every year, if I was a protected player, I'd love it because I wouldn't have to have the stress of it. But if it wasn't, then
Yeah, I mean, it's
then
only
it would be a challenge. But yeah, like you said, it's exciting.
when you see stuff like that, you only must realize what it must be like an NHL draft or something if you're sitting in that room waiting to be picked. I mean, the stress that those players
You
must have.
can't imagine.
You can't even imagine what it'd be like. Will you get picked? Won't you get picked? Because it will
Mm,
define your career or won't.
mm.
But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know how a draft series would work over here, but I'd like to see something like that. Maybe as a pathway for junior players who are up and coming to maybe as a
Yep.
chance to get into an elite league team or just something like that. I think anything where we can add excitement into our sport and engage our fans in the way that we can, I think will be definitely a positive to go. Um,
Mm.
Looking ahead at this streaming series that's going on in a few weeks, I mean, I know hockey especially relies on a lot of team chemistry, a lot of bonding, and it can take a while for a team to probably gel and know where each other is on the ice. I mean, what kind of hockey and level do you expect to be played when we start playing in a few weeks?
It's going to be it's going to be hard to predict. I don't think we're going to be right up there with the elite league we kind of used to seeing. I think we'll be close. I do, and I think towards the end of the series, the last couple of weeks, and when games get tight and everything else along with it, it will get better. I think there's naturally skating more and dust the cobwebs off and get their feet going. And I think it's natural. I think it's just one of those things that's going to progress and it will be better than it would be at the start. In that time element as well. The more time you end up spending with players and the more time you gel, it's you reap the rewards of that. Like you look at Guildford, who had the same core group, the last couple of years in the Elite League, and the chemistry that they boys have. It's.
I mean, being drafted by Nottingham, they have an intense rivalry with the Steelers, should we say? Now, obviously, you're going to be taking place here. We're going to be playing in some of those games. I mean, how much are you looking forward to actually being in quite a good rivalry? Playing for Guildford, we don't really have many close rivals or stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, looking at everything, I mean, Steelers really hate Panthers and vice versa. So, I mean, it should be quite an intense game.
Yeah, not even the four arena teams. Any team wants to beat anyone on any given night. So there's always a bit of a rivalry there. But like you said, with Nottingham and Sheffield being, some of the oldest clubs in the UK and the biggest clubs in the UK, naturally that rivalry is going to be there. Stones throw away from each other, and I've watched a couple of games live between Nottingham and Sheffield, and seen a few obviously streaming, and it is a spectacle, And I previously, when I've been played with a few boys from Nottingham, and they always experienced growing up watching those kind of games. So the rivalry is pretty evident, and I am looking forward to being involved in it. Rivalries like that bring the best out of players, and hopefully it can do the same for me.
No, I definitely think it's gonna be a good one. How do you think it's going to be playing with, should we say, in that big arena, but with no crowd? I mean, that's going to be the strangest experience ever. I mean, normally playing in
that is going to be a strange feeling for sure.
It's only a packed out thing, but
I'm not sure how the sound, for one thing, just simple as that, with pucks echoing and everything like that. So
it'll be quiet, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and hopefully, the arena staff, can kind of make it as lively as possible. And I think in terms of games,
the cutout crowd and things like that, people are sending in pictures and stuff to stick around there, which is fine. But it's not an atmosphere, and the crowd can really raise you in a game. So I think it's going to be strange. I mean, obviously, when you score an important goal, there's no one to turn and celebrate. So it's going to be a bit of a weird experience, I should imagine, especially in a place. But, I mean, which team are you kind of looking forward to, should we say, playing against in this series? And which player do you think is really coming into this series looking quite sharp and is probably going to do some damage?
In terms of the team who I'm most looking forward to, I couldn't really put my finger on one. If I had to, of course, it'd probably be that Sheffield side. But wearing a Nottingham jersey, naturally, I'm going to look forward to playing those kinds of games against Sheffield. So yeah, I'd have to point that one out over the rest. But of course, I'm looking forward to playing no matter what. And then in terms of players who are coming in, guys have had success in Europe while this little break's going on. So as my age and being successful, it kind of pushes me on to be better. And so like you look at Kirky, obviously he's had success with the draft and everything like that. So he's going to be,
He's had good success in the Spring Cup. He's put up some good numbers. He's come back with a bit of size on him as well and a bit of speed. I think, naturally, if you go out there and you spend enough time in the OHL, then you're going to be taught different things that no one would get taught over here. You're going to learn how to move and skate and shoot and be quick, and someone like him is open to that. So it's going to be interesting to see what he can now bring into the next level, should we say.
Yeah, and like I've been skating recently with a few of the boys I'm actually going to be playing with, so Hooky, and then Josh as well, who's we're going to be playing against, which is going to be strange, obviously, being with his teammate in Guildford. So, but yeah, like it's been a nice challenge, and I am really looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, I was pleased to see Josh get picked up by Sheffield in the draft. I think he's a good talent. He's got a lot of things to offer. So I'm looking forward to see what he can do in this series. He's just a young kid, but he's doing good things. Okay, we're going to move on just to some questions that we got sent through. We asked these questions
Okay.
to Ben. We're going to ask the same one to you. So, if you had to pick one Flames player to be on lockdown with, who would you pick?
Oh my God, that's such a hard question.
I can tell you,
I would probably say foot.
Ben,
Yeah,
ben,
tell me who said who.
Ben said you, and the reason he said you is because you were crap at poker and that he could take all your money.
He would say that, wouldn't he? I'd probably say fully though. He would just be cracking me up. He plays the guitar pretty well as well, so he'd be entertaining.
Nice.
And he could teach me a few things. So yeah.
And what Netflix series did you binge, or have you currently been binging at the moment?
I just finished Behind Her Eyes, which was really weird. If you haven't watched it, binge-wise, what have I been watching? Homeland. That's pretty current. Yeah,
I've been watching Homeland. The one that I'm currently binging, what I just completed last night. It took me about 2 days to binge it. Was Drive to Survive. The full.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, I've watched the first two. I haven't seen the last one. Maybe it's something I'll do.
Yeah, it's really good because you get behind everything. You see everything, all the access. Yeah, it's a really good thing to watch that.
I haven't been like previously. I wasn't really into Formula One. Really enjoyed it, and then since I've watched this Netflix series, it's kind of opened your eyes. You kind of see, like you said, behind the scenes, and it's interesting. It makes it adds a bit of drama to everything. So it's good.
I watched that, and I watched the Michael Jordan one, the Bulls.
Yeah, that's good.
That was incredible. They held on to all that footage for that time. I don't know, but
I know.
It's like years and years ago, and then he releases it in a lockdown. But that was an incredible series. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up there, Owen. We wish you all the luck for the streaming series, and I hope it goes well for you. And take care.
Yep.
But we will no doubt tie up with you again soon.